myself, I'm Tanveer Mohammed Masood once again, and today I wanted to talk regarding another important issue, a burning topic. It's about the humanitarian crisis in South Sudan. What exactly is the way out, and how can we restore peace in Sudan? Now, coming to the background of the current crisis and the current violent situation in Sudan, what we can find out is that the current pandemonium that is surrounding Sudan is the outcome of the differences between the president. President Kiir removes his deputy, and his deputy in turn rebels against him. Now, this is the root of all the problems of the current violent situation, the current mayhem that is surrounding South Sudan. There is this conflict between the deputy and the king. This is the root of the problem, and this is where all the pandemonium has begun. As you all know, that Sudan is in the midst of a great humanitarian crisis, and the problem has erupted because of a difference between the king and the deputy. King Kira, or rather King Kir, had some differences with his deputy, and his deputy in turn rebelled against him. And since his deputy had backing of certain local militias, he went on to create a lot of problems, a lot of issues for the entire nation as a whole. He has this backing of local militias, who are basically called white fighters, and they have created a literal mayhem out there in this country of Sudan. Death, decay, and decadence rules the roost. It's pandemonium all the way. People in Sudan are dying on a daily basis. They're dying of hunger, starvation. They're dying a daily death. Even with the intervention of United Nations, situation hasn't calmed down. President of Sudan has literally failed to control the mayhem, the violence that has erupted in there. The most bothering part is that a big organization like United Nations has, as of now, not been able to bring the situation under control. There are peace observers in there, and in spite of that, the rebellions and the ruler are not being able to come to common terms. They are not being able to come to a table of dialogue and peace talk wherein this issue can be sorted out. As 2014 advance, we really hope that this current situation that's prevailing out there, as whether we call it Sudan, whether we call it Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, the civil war that is prevailing in there in these nations, we sincerely hope that something substantial comes out by way of talks, by way of conventions, peace conventions to be very precise, wherein both the rebellions, or should I say the freedom fighters as they call themselves, come to a dialogue table with the ruler of the country, wherein something substantial can be sorted out. Because if this naked dance of death, decay, and decadence continues for a longer time, then we would be literally nearing a day of doom, wherein people would be killing themselves, looting each other's property, their dignity, and so on and so forth. Coming back to South Sudan, what I think is that President Kiir should show a little more maturity, should be a little more flexible, and come to common terms with the rebellions, with his deputies forces, so that something substantial, something solid can be carved out by way of talks, by way of dialogue, since violence always begets violence. Violence is not an answer or reply to curb any rebellion. It can only uh, add insult to injury and fuel to the fire. It's going to enhance or rather spread the cycle of violence, since uh, what we can see, or rather what we have learned from all the civil wars that have taken place all over the world, is that has never ever been able to curb any sort of rebellion. It always goes on to enhance it. It goes on to fuel it further. So I thought that it's only peace talks, substantial steps towards taking certain peace measures by way of dialogues, by way of cultural exchanges, by way of peace games. As I said, if UN forces, peacekeeping forces organize certain cricket games or football matches to raise funds for the uh, civil war hit victim, that would indeed go on to bring some sort of cheer, some sort of smile into their melancholy faces, since that amount of money can be uh, poured into the fund of those civil war victims who have lost their near and dear ones, their kith and kin in this mayhem. I thought that would be a great measure to bring in a little happiness in uh, this era of civil war, in this which is surrounding the almost half of the world. I think that would be a great measure. And at the same time, we shall not always expect United Nations to be come to the forefront all the time to to diffuse any tension or to bring in peace in any uh, violence hit zone of any part of the world, because they have other works to do. But then this is one of their major function, one of the major roles that they have to go in for, because what we need to remember is that a country, a sovereign country, has a ruler who has been given this power to control any sort of uprising in his country, any uprising or any act that goes beyond the security, beyond the integrity of that nation. If that ruler fails to deliver, then surely there are international agencies in the form of United Nations that is quite capable enough to bring in some sort of sanity in a war-like situation. At the same time, it's as I already said that we cannot always expect UN to be uh, to be ready all the time to diffuse any sort of crisis, since a sovereign country always have this ability, should always have this ability, this power to control their subject. The relationship between the ruler and the ruled should be such that there shouldn't be any sort of problems or crisis like by way of civil war or by way of any violent situation, and that assumes this proportion of civil war that is currently engulfing a certain part or major part of our world, of the globe, whether we call it Sudan, we call it Afghanistan at times, Europe. Um, we have got Iraq, where there are ethnic violences erupting within sectarian violence, should I say. That is really very alarming and very pathetic to note, because one religion, follower of one religion killing each other, that is the most saddest part of for any country, for any follower of that religion. I thought that is really frustrating to observe the cycle of violence that is engulfing Iraq. Well, at the end, I would conclude by saying that people in South Sudan or CAR, Central African Republic, and the rulers, in fact, should show a little more maturity in using their powers and their functions so that people don't feel oppressed at any point of time. They should be quite potent enough to deliver what exactly is needed for the betterment and for the welfare of the people. They should carve out measures. Certain development plans shall be carved out by them so that those people, uh, their subjects, be it they are in Sudan, be they are in CAR, they shouldn't feel let down by any sort of measures that are taken by the ruler of such countries, because what is exactly needed at this point of time for a developing and underdeveloped country like these is certain development and welfare measures that can uplift them, that can bring them on par with other developing nations and developed countries as well. I really hope that this 2014 comes by way of a boon for all the violent hit nations, which are people who are hit by civil war all over in Iraq, Afghanistan, South Sudan, CAR, Central African Republic. Really wish them all the best and really pray, inshallah, that this 2014 comes by way of boon in the life and the cycle of violence that has engulfed them ends sooner than later. Inshallah. Thank you very much.